of buyers, I would say. I'm just going to simplify this and kind of, I'm not making this up off the top of my head, but I am making this up off the top of my head to help you guys identify who you want to be. I'm going to be a little bit closer to like number 4. Number 4, I'll start with it, is I actually generate a significant amount of leads. Okay. So your 4th level buyer, like level 4, I generate leads plus JV with others. And what I want to do is break that down of what that means in a little bit, but that's level 4. What a lot of people are is they're level 1, and level 1 is going to be, I set appointments and earn finder's fees. Okay. Plus ownership. Okay. A lot of people are going to be starting here, right? You're not going to be underwriting. You're not going to have a big CRM full of leads that are telling you, hey, you haven't talked to this seller. Hey, this thing needs to be followed up with. That's down here. Okay. You're just trying to get started. You want to get paid finder's fees. You want to get some ownership. You want to warm yourself up. This is somebody that might not have a lot of business experience, that doesn't know how to close, doesn't know sales, is kind of afraid of their own shadow. By the way, that's not a criticism. I've also been afraid of my own shadow as well. These people are not super business savvy quite yet. They need level 1 to ease them into being a business owner. How many people, I know we have 1,400 people in here today. How many people would say that they already know you're level 1? Okay. A lot of people saying I'm a level 1. Cool. And this is what I do for a lot of SubTo members, is I pair these appointment setters up with legitimate buyers that are in the SubTo community and get them past this stage. Okay. So where are my level 1s? Give me a level 1 in the side chat. Okay. Very, very cool. Now a level 2 is going to be somebody that now is buying parks for themselves, right? So you're going to go, okay, I've now gotten some ownership and I want to amplify this. And so I'm going to start generating leads, and I'm going to start spending money on software that allows me to do follow-up. So CRM, customer relationship managers, right? People I've talked to, when do I follow up? You're going to start spending a little bit of money on this because you want to start buying 1 or 2 parks maybe a year. Then number 3 is you take this seriously and you actually hire people and you build a team and you go after this in a significant way. What's interesting, okay, is you guys, the park owners that you guys are going to talk to, what level are these park owners? Are they a level 1, a level 2? Are they a level 3? Are they a level 4? 99% of them. By the way, it's a trick question. The trick is that they are none. Okay. They are actually a 0. They found their way into RV parks so differently than the way you're going to find yourself into RV parks. Here's how they found themselves into RV parks. Yeah. Precious Smith's like, wow. I'll give you guys a really good example of this on a park that I am under contract. It's the park we talked about yesterday. Let me show you guys some photos of it. I went there today and I talked to the park manager today. And I was chatting with him about the story and who's working on what, and are you going to stick around when we buy this park? All of those types of things. And I made a whole video about it today that I'll release on YouTube in the next couple of weeks, but let's go through. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's just a one-man band. I don't have anybody running my studio with me today, so I'm just super simple. But you will see that the Beargrass RV Resort, I want you to pick up on some photos here. Sorry, my team's going to have a ton of photos here that we'll use for like thumbnails and stuff like that. So this is the park that I went to today. You'll notice everything's about me because he's making thumbnails. But Beargrass Lodging and RV Resort. You see how many cars are in the parking lot? None. Okay, look at here. There's one car in the whole parking lot at this park. One. And this kind of helps you understand buyers. And I'm sorry, not buyers, but current owners. So this park generates $600,000 a year in revenue in a 6-month time frame. So 6 months out of the year, it's dead as a doornail, like it is right now. There's nobody staying there. It's vacant. Nobody's staying there because Glacier National Park, which is open about 6 months out of the year, is closed right now due to snow. There's so much snow that's up inside that park that they close that park half the year, which means half the year those bookings don't make sense at that little resort. Okay. Now, why do you need to know this? You need to know this because you need to understand the psychology of the people that you are going to go out and talk to and how you are completely different than these people. Okay. So if I go back here and I say, hey, let's go back to Beargrass RV Resort. Look at this, 4.6 stars, 282 Google reviews. That's pretty freaking awesome. All right. So it's in a teeny little town. You can see I'm down here in Creston. I wonder if it'll even show me. Where am I? Why is it not showing me? Anyway, where do I live? Jessup Pond. Okay, I live right here. This is my house. I'm in this little part of the house right here. This is where I'm standing. You guys can see my little backyard view is looking out that back window towards that fire pit. Okay. All right. These things are weird. People are like, why do you teach this way? Just get to the gosh dang point. People that are engineers have a hard time listening to me because I teach in story and optics. I want people to be able to see what I'm talking about instead of just telling you a story. So that's where I'm at. I drove up here today to Beargrass Lodging and RV Resort. I already own this park right here, Glacier Peaks, and I own this park right here, Mountain View. Okay, so I will own 3 parks literally on the same exact road, and they're all going to one location, which is Glacier National freaking Park, which is so freaking insane. It's the coolest place I think I've ever been personally. If you ever guys want to see some cool things, Hidden Lake. Oh my gosh, like look at this. This is crazy. How is this even real? It's bonkers. Okay, cool. I show you this because I need you to understand the seasonality of this park in order for you guys to understand the seller of this park. Okay. So you can understand these are not the same people as you. All right. So this has got a little pool. It's got pads. It's got cabins. It's got a whole bunch of things here. And this little location generates $600,000 a year in revenue. Okay. So I sat there today and I talked to Shane. Shane is the park manager. And I said, hey, nice to meet you. I said, are you staying on board with us? I don't know. I have a team that does this stuff. Are you staying on board with us? He goes, I don't know. Nobody's reached out to me. I go, oh, okay. So how long you been working here? He goes, well, I moved here because my in-laws bought it. And I now work for my in-laws. I'm like, okay, so this is another important thing. Most of these RV park owners are single owners that bought these parks in order to quit their job. And they didn't know what else to do. So they go, let's just go buy an RV park and put all of our retirement savings into that thing. Cool. So now they've got all their retirement savings there. They go, we don't know how to hire people. We never went to seminars. We never paid for education. We never bought mentorships. We never learned how to delegate or find quality people. Really important statistic for you guys to understand is 91% of people on the planet will 91% of people that own businesses on the planet will never do more than $1 million in revenue. And the reason being is because they don't know how to delegate and build teams, because they're W-2 employees that go into the business environment and they chase quitting their job. That's all they're chasing. They're not trying to build an empire. They're not trying to do anything other than, I hate my job. I want time freedom. Cool. So I started talking to Shane. I go, man, this park's dialed in. It's so great. Why are these sellers selling? He says they want to retire. I had to like stop everything in my, like to keep my mouth from dropping. Pay attention to what these people are retiring from. Okay. They're retiring from, this is crazy, a park that they own free and clear that brings in $650,000 a year in a 6-month time frame, that their son-in-law manages 100%. He's on site every day other than the other 6 months, and they pay him $80,000 a year as a salary. Their take home for never working, okay, after all the expenses out of the 650, the payroll, et cetera, these people are taking home close to $400,000 a year on that little rinky-dinky park. Guys, they're not the same as you. These owners are not the same as you. They want to retire from that. Doesn't that already sound like retirement from what you are currently in right now? Yes or no? Are you guys happy I went through that example to help you understand the typical seller of these parks is an individual owner that is I want you guys to write down a phrase, a term that's very important. It's called an accidental owner. Accidental owner. They accidentally bought a park because they didn't know what else to buy, and somebody suggested they buy a park. Okay. So these owners of Beargrass are like, we want to retire. Guys, they own nothing on the park. We went through the financials yesterday. They have no debt on the park. They're taking home $400,000. They don't want to live your life. They don't want to live my life. I'm like, one park? How about one park a quarter? How about one park a month? Let's go build a business out of this. Let's go do something big. Okay. Now, I want to read you guys something really important. I know this is hokey and stupid for some people have already heard this, but I want you guys to read this story and understand the parable of the Mexican fisherman. Okay. One of the greatest stories I could tell you. And it has to do with this. Imagine me, I'm the businessman in this story, or you guys are the business people. And these RV park owners, 90% of them that you're going to talk to, 90% of them you're going to talk to are the Mexican fishermen in this story. Let me read this to you. Okay. You guys can also read it. You'll maybe even read louder or faster than I can. The parable of the Mexican fisherman. An American investment banker was at a pier of a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman docked. Inside the small boat were several large yellowfin tuna. The American complimented the Mexican on the quality of his fish and asked how long it took for him to catch them. The Mexican replied, "Only a little while." The American then asked, "Why didn't you stay out longer and catch more fish?" The Mexican said he had enough to support his family's immediate needs. The American then asked, "But what do you do with the rest of your time if you're not out there fishing all day long?" The Mexican fisherman said, "I sleep late, fish a little, play with my children, take siestas with my wife, Maria. I stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine and play my guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life." The American scoffed. "I have an MBA from Harvard and I can help you," he said. "You should spend more time fishing and with the proceeds buy a bigger boat. With the proceeds from the bigger boat, you could buy several boats and eventually you could have a fleet of fishing boats. Instead of selling your catch to middlemen, you could sell directly to the processor, eventually opening up your own cannery. You could control the product, processing, distribution. Of course, you would need to leave this small coastal village and move to Mexico City, then Los Angeles, and eventually New York City, where you will run your expanding enterprise." The Mexican fisherman said, "But how long will this take?" And the American says, "Oh, 15 to 20 years. And then the Mexican asks, "But then what?" The American laughed and said, "That's the best part. When the time was right, you would announce an IPO, sell your company stock to the public, and become very, very rich. You would make millions." Hispanic says, Millions? Then what? The American said, then you could retire. Move to a small coastal fishing village where you could sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take siestas with your wife, and stroll to the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play guitar with your amigos. You need to understand who you are in this story. I'm a level 4. I want to be a businessman. I enjoy playing the game. For me, my kids are with me all day long. You guys see my kids jump into my Zooms all the time. My kids are in the same houses with me every single day. I've created the life I want, but I cannot impose my thoughts on these sellers. And you guys need to understand that these sellers are wanting to retire. They want to be done, 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 done. Ownership to them of a park is a burden. And so they got enough money in their life they could live all the way until they die, and they don't ever have to think about work, an employee, a screwdriver going missing, or somebody stole money. Guys, your sellers are level 0. They don't want to be business owners. They just wanted to quit their job. Okay? They just wanted to quit their job. Okay? Now, somebody says they have no idea. Somebody says, why not both? You have to develop yourself, and you have to go through pain, anxiety, second guessing yourself to become somebody like me. I still want to go to a higher level, and I have to go through fear, anxiety, pressure, stress to become that stronger version of who I am today. Those other sellers are not willing to do that. They go, man, everything God has to offer me is right in front of me. A beautiful, happy, loving wife, happy, healthy kids. I've done exactly what I needed to do to live my purpose. That is amazing for them. They are the Mexican fisherman. It doesn't mean I'm unhappy because I continue to work. It means that playing the guitar and sipping wine is not my idea of a hobby. My idea of a hobby is building, right? So whatever your version is, I'm a level 4. I have an abundance of leads, an abundance of opportunities, and you guys need to understand where you lie in here. I have a brand new student that just joined SubTo a couple months ago. He was in Pennsylvania and flew to Cheyenne, Wyoming, a very small meetup I was doing, because he wanted to come up and thank me in person. And he comes up to me and says, I just want to say thank you. My wife and I have been in SubTo for a couple of months, and we are now fully retired. I'm like, from what? And he says, one RV park. I'm like, amazing. Interesting question I asked him. I need you guys to see this. Let me make sure I can find the photo. I think I got, okay, here it is right here. Miles comes up to me, literally flies from Pennsylvania to Cheyenne, Wyoming, just to say thank you to me. Says, me and my wife can finally quit our job. I'm so grateful for this in this community. And I said, man, this is awesome. Let's go get your second one. He goes, nope, we're good. You have to understand that some of these people don't want to be you or me or whatever. They want to go and buy one and be done. Think about this. That park in Beargrass, okay? If I lived in a more modest house, had a more modest lifestyle, I could take them 400 grand a year on a park that is only open 6 months out of the year. Tell me that that is not 1,000 times better than your current situation right now, that one park. Tell me I'm wrong. Okay? That is why you jump in RV parks. I feel guilty. I was driving away with Roberto. He's like, that thing makes that much money. I'm like, yes, all of these RV parks make significant money. And he's like, it's so crazy. Like, I'd be happy with literally just one. I'm like, I know, I think most people would be, but I have a different game I'm playing. I love having team members and benefiting them and supplying jobs. I feel like I was put on this earth for a larger purpose than just owning one park. Okay. So for some of you guys might be 2 parks or 3 parks. I'm going to try and buy 20 this year just with SubTo members. And I want to see 1,000 deals get done this year where we literally go and like within 5 years, the whole SubTo community ends up buying 25 or 35% of the entire RV park industry. That's a fun game I want to play. I want to push that envelope as far as I can make it. So you guys need to understand, okay, I got a little bit of time. Let's see, who's the seller call I got to make today? Who's the seller call? I'm supposed to make a call for somebody that I did. I was in a SubTo Zoom this morning, and I told one of the SubTo members I was going to make a call. Who was it? Carly, were you in that? Oh, she says she has it. Thank you. Carly's going to send me a message. Thank you, Carly. Oh, Brennan. Thank you. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Carly, you going to send me a text or what are you going to do? Da-da-da. Thank you. Okay, cool. Brennan, you in here? Let me find Brennan real fast. Brennan, what up?
So,
What are we doing today?
hopefully get in the park.
Okay, so the seller knows I'm calling. Brennan, does the seller know I'm calling?
Yeah, Cameron already reached out to him, got it all lined up.
Okay.
He did mention something I didn't know. The owner is evidently wanting to do some kind of take off some of the property. So I think he cut it down from 120 acres to like 50 or 40 acres.
Okay. Cool.
Still, there's potential. The way it's laid out, it's kind of spread out all of the different pads, so you could probably consolidate some and get some pull through. Me and Cameron were talking about that earlier.
And who does the seller know, Cameron or you?
Me, well, Cameron talked to the owner. The friend of mine, which is the realtor, is the one that brought the deal.
Okay, cool. And am I talking to the realtor today or just the seller?
No, the owner.
Okay, cool.
His name's Charles.
Charles in charge.
Well, it's Charles.
Hey, Charles, it's Pace. How you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I'm really good. Cameron told me to give you a call. Is now still a good time?
Yes.
Cool.
Then I'm going to run to the office.
No problem. He told me something about this park. You guys are thinking about kind of changing it from the 100+ acres to something a little bit smaller.
So it's a very long story, but the short version of it is, apologize if there's noise in the background.
Don't worry about it. I'm always on the move. Don't worry about it.
I'm going to head over to my office where I can sit in peace and talk to you.
Okay.
I bought this park about 2.5 years ago. I sold a big commercial property up the road, and I've always liked this piece of ground. And I knew that the owner that had it, he had purchased it for his wife. She passed away from cancer. He turned it over to his daughter, who managed to kind of really run the place down.
Okay.
And I knew he was just tired of dealing with it. And so he and I talked and was able to come to a deal on the property. And I bought, I really wanted the land in the back. That's how the conversation started. He wouldn't separate it from the park. So we bought the whole thing.
Okay.
In the last 2.5 years, upgrading and improving the park, upgrading infrastructure, paving roads. I'm currently adding 6 little 2-bedroom, 2-bath little cabins to the property. Just bringing it up to where it should have been a long time. And it also has a kind of a separate part of the park that's it was the old residence for the original owners. And when Terry had the park, well, he let his daughter live there at that house. She didn't do it any favor either. So we went in and just gutted the house down to the stud, stripped all the siding off of it, and started a a remodel on it, including I added about 10 feet onto the end of the house, built a 13-foot porch down two sides of it.
Dang.
It's about a 3,600 square foot home now.
Okay.
Terry also, I don't know, he spent $100 and something thousand on a metal shop building over here that's got a good heavy 6-inch slab on it where you can, bring equipment into it. There's another large equipment shed over there that's just open walls, but it's a cover. There's another little implement shed that I poured a concrete floor in it that we park equipment and store materials in. The house is 95% done on the exterior. The interior is mostly just still studs inside.
Okay.
And this whole thing came about. A local realtor who I've done tons of business with over the last 20-something years. She decided that she wanted to show this park to someone. And I told her, I said, well, I really didn't buy it with the intention of doing anything with it. And, plan on keeping it and living here. And, we hawed around and finally started talking about it. And the lady that she had brought to the table was just too far away from what she needed versus what I needed.
In terms of price or in terms of like size?
Just the biggest thing that we got hung up on, and the reason I'm bringing this up to you is because I believe in being upfront and not wasting your time or mine. And the numbers on this park work great for the park. Plus, there's huge upside for future expansion on this thing in a commercial atmosphere. I have a 1/4 mile of highway frontage on Highway 281.
Yeah, I see that.
My edge of my property is the city limits. So if you wanted to be incorporated in the city limits, you can. If you don't want to, they cannot forcibly annex you anymore under Texas law. However, I do get to take advantage of the fact that we're on city water, so I don't have to deal with TCEQ on the water issues. There's a lot of potential, maybe for some flex space, some storage buildings, or all sorts of things, in the future that, as time and money allow, that, I'll just, if I'm going to own the park, it's just going to keep growing. I just keep reinvesting.
Yeah.
So,
it's interesting. I look at the park, like I've got a handful of parks in Big Spring, just not too far from you guys. And man, we line up our RV spots so not so tight, right? They've got space, but you guys are really spread out. Is it just you wanted it to be a little bit more homey there?
So understand that this park was initially put in by the original
Terry
owner actually Terry purchased this from the Smith family.
Got it. Okay.
The Smith family, the dad put this park together somewhere in the mid-70s.
Got it.
And at that time, parks were starting to kind of go more along the lines of what you're talking about, having the units side by side. But prior to that, going back into the 50s and stuff, almost all your parks were pull-out parks. And that's the way he laid this one out, is to where you pull out in every one of them. Yeah. And I've stayed in, good grief, man. We've RV'd all over the country over the last 30 years. And we stayed in some really old parks that were pull-out parks. Most of them that are this age, though, are already side by side. But I guess he liked that setup. It, sprawled it out over a large area. But this park at that time also had 35 mobile homes in it. So
that makes sense. All right.
His initial setup that he had 36 RV spaces and 35, I believe, mobile home sites. Don't quote me on that mobile home number. I have the old map showing where everything was and so on and so forth. There's a lot of history here. And he wasn't the original owner of the property. He was the one that started the park. It goes back further than that. That family had this land going back a long time. There actually used to be a dairy up on the hill where the shop and the big shed is, and the shed still has concrete in it where it had the floor where they used to bring cattle in, and they had a dairy here. They used to sell milk here if you go back far enough in time.
Wow.
My grandmother, she's 98, and she remembers buying milk up here, when she was a kid. So, a long history, but that's where that pullout came from. There's room to expand the park. I'm going to be real honest with you and tell you that when we fill up here, we usually fill up for at least 3 to 6 months, and usually it's work related stuff.
Yeah.
A pipeline will come through or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a destination resort. I don't have people coming from 300 miles away to spend the weekend with us here. We're more local people who are trying to live in an RV or have a mobile home here, or we have, I guess what you would call transient workers, many of which are oil field related.
Yes, sir.
And not just attached to drilling like you think boom or bust where it's all or nothing, but there's lots of maintenance ongoing in South Texas. And right now I don't have any pipeline guys in this park, but I'm, probably 2/3 to 3/4 capacity right now. And it's just miscellaneous folks in here, but when a pipeline does get anywhere near this area, we're the first ones to fill up. I mean, we get jam-packed full and we'll stay that way for 6 months. So my overall occupancy rate over the last 2.5 years I've had it looks pretty good. I'm in the upper 70% occupancy rate if you average everything out. So I don't know how I can't tell you what the future is going to hold, how consistent that'll be, but my attitude is like this, it's been great. I see a lot of activity scheduled for the next 5 years that I think it's going to stay great. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, I'd rather have somebody in here on a year lease in a mobile home or something. So that's why I started putting these cabins in, because I'm trying to get more stable income that I know is going to be there, longer term. So the RVs, when it's great, it's great. Whenever it's a little skinny, I have that other stuff to fall back on. So
yes, sir. Makes sense.
I don't know if Cameron's explained to you my situation. And again, I'm very blunt, and I apologize if I come off rude about it, but I'm open to a conversation about selling the park. I've also spent 2.5 years working very hard towards making this park what I wanted it to be so that I could keep it. And, my wife and I both, honestly, we can make an argument for selling the park, if the money's right. But I've done so much to increase this thing and continuing to increase it. And I know it's just continuing to build, and I'm also very happy to keep it. So it's just a matter of if it's a deal that it's good for you and it's good for us and y'all are interested in it, well, then we're willing to do something on the park. But I'm not on the market. I don't have it advertised. I'm not actively looking for anyone. And to be honest with you, I like Cameron. He seems like a really nice guy. He seems very intelligent to me. I don't know, but I've probably waved off 10 other people that have come knocking on the door that I just didn't have time to even talk to them about it. I'm busy working, and it's just a matter of if someone's, serious about it and can understand that's why I tell you up front, the math that I operate the park with is not just simply a cap rate math, because I've got about $500,000 worth of house and shop and sheds and all kinds of other non-income producing property that's connected to this park that I can't turn loose of. And the way I'm dividing this thing, the park itself is about 35 acres. And then there's about 5 acres roughly with the house and sheds. And then there's another 5-acre field that sits behind the mobile home side. It's kind of, behind the shop and stuff that I'm going to leave that with the park as well if I sell it. So any owner would have, expansion capabilities as well.
Yeah.
Not that you couldn't put a ton of stuff all over this park if you wanted to, but being able to keep it sprawled out and nice. It's why people like it here. No one wants to go stay in a dusty place where you got campers stacked elbow to elbow. You know, they all love to come here. And especially right now, we've been under a horrible drought, probably the worst drought in my life. And I cannot wait for it to start raining again. But the deer are so hungry that everybody's been throwing a little corn out here. And I mean, I was flooded with deer in here at night. So
wow, okay.
They've been getting a big kick out of that, which we always have deer around here. Right now, it's especially true. So it's like every other campsite has a little bag of corn out on their little patio.
Well, a couple of things that you mentioned. I have a handful of questions, but a couple of things you mentioned. Cap rate. We own about 20 parks. Cap rate is nice and fancy, but there's a lot of times where you don't really care about the cap rate. You look at the potential of the park, and cap rate can kill a lot of deals, as you, I'm sure, have experienced. You get people go, "Oh, it's not worth it," or they say something about cap rate. I promise you, I will not bring up cap rate one time in talking to you about this park.
Well, my scenario is this. I look at what I paid for the property, what I've put into the property, and just being completely frank with you. What I'm asking for the park is not very much more than I've got in it. And if you include all my hours, my personal hours in the park,
oh yeah,
I'm probably not recouping everything, but it's a long story and I don't want to waste a bunch of your time. But I mean, when I sold my other property, the original idea was we were going to try to buy this land in the back here because it was so close to town. And then I was planning basically not retiring, but allowing myself to pick and choose jobs that I wanted. I've been self-employed. Hold on a second. Go ahead. Close my door, please. I've been self-employed, started my first LLC in 1999. So, you know, I'm at a point in my life that I wouldn't mind being able to get out of here and travel, especially during the summer, during the hot months. I'd love to be able to go up north and be able to spend, 2 or 3 months out of the year, where it's cooler. That'd be great. And it's difficult to get away whenever you have a park like this, unless you hire someone, and then that cuts into, what the park makes. So
right.
It's just a matter of, we're not dead set on any particular direction.
Do you guys feel like you've invested enough time and energy into this that it's become kind of a baby for you, that it'd be hard to actually part with the park?
The only thing that's like that I could tell you about is my wife, was really looking forward to me finishing that house up there because she had a lot of input as to how we restructured that house. But I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, I can build her another house back here in the back. That's something else that, my brother and I both have done is, build houses over the years. And
okay.
I haven't been building anything lately because, the last couple of years with interest rates and everything, the way they were, and we went through some crazy material pricing. And to be honest with you, I just got my hands full here. I've kind of scaled down and I have the park here, and I've been just concentrating on trying to get the park to where I want it to be right now. And then once these 6 cabins are done, which I don't know, I don't know, 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. I'm guessing. I don't know. That's just me shooting from the hip. But once I get them finished, well, then I'll go back to work on that 2-story house. And I can probably finish it in, 2, 3, 4 months, depending on how much outside labor I want to bring in, how much of it I want to do myself. But once I get to that point, I'm selling my house in town and I'm moving out here and I'm going to move into it.
Got it.
Moving unless I've got someone who's, seriously interested in a place that deviates that plan. But as of right now, that's my plan.
What is the price that you guys have been looking for?
So depending upon whether the house is finished or not, if I finished the house to someone's, spec, or if I have already finished the house, whenever I sell it, I'm asking $3.25 million for it. If I sold it as is, I would take $3 million for it.
Got it. Okay.
that's with, you know, and I don't have a survey on it, but with me taking aerials and trying to carve out the acreage, it looks to be about 45 acres total. And that's the full quarter-mile highway frontage on the property. You know, so basically all I'm keeping is the land in the back. There's about 75 acres of land, including a lane that I have, which there's a piece of property between my highway frontage and the lane that I have. So if I sold this place, oh goodness, it's several hundred feet wide of frontage that this gentleman has just to the north of the park. And I would be entering over there, and I'm in the middle of finishing a permitted entrance from TxDOT, so that I can have legal access to get into the back of the place, so that if I sold this and I went in and fenced it off, whoever was to purchase it wouldn't have me or any of my guests coming in and out through the park to get to that property.
Got it. Okay.
So yeah, that's, you know, important. If I owned the park, I wouldn't want the previous owner driving through here all the time. So, you know, I always just try to put myself in your shoes and keep it in mind as well. You know, this is what I explained to Cameron. I mean, I don't want to sell this thing to someone unless they're satisfied and happy with it. And I'm satisfied and happy with it, because we're going to be neighbors.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm not going anywhere. And I'm more than happy to assist with the knowledge that I have put together between the previous owner, what he gave me before I left, which I'll pass all the documentation that I have on, you know, to a buyer, but also just the ability to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, Charles, we're trying to find a water line over here, or, hey, we got a water leak or something going on. Or, hey, you know where this electrical goes to? I pretty much have this thing figured out now. It's taken a couple of years of, you know, steady working on things here to be able to identify it. And we have, and don't quote me on this, I think there's like 21 septic systems on this property and all. And we're about halfway done pumping them. The guy's supposed to come back next week. We're already 2 months behind when he was supposed to be here, because he spun a bearing in his engine on his truck, and he had to have an engine put in his truck. He's supposed to be coming back next week to finish pumping all the septic systems. And I'm just, stuff like that I'm doing strictly for preventative maintenance.
Makes sense.
You know,
Yeah.
I haven't had any problems out of them, but I can't come up with any documentation from the previous owner when they were pumped last.
Makes sense. Yeah.
You know, my peace of mind and taking care of the customers, we're going to spend a few $1,000s and go ahead and pump them out. You know, it's not a big deal.
Right.
Just, that's the way I am. I like to fix something once and be done with it, not bubblegum stuff together and have to worry about it. You know, I like to sleep at night. So.
Okay. Well, I appreciate all of this. This is great. I took a lot of notes. I have one park similar to this. It's near Knoxville, Tennessee. And the park relies on transient workers. It's very similar. It's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I wouldn't say your town is in the middle of nowhere, but you get what I mean. It's kind of an in-between town.
Yeah, we're not in a major metropolitan hub per se, but I mean, just to give you an idea, I didn't mention this earlier, but 281 that runs here in front of the park, the latest TxDOT report that I pulled showed 17,000 cars a day passing in front of this park. So we have a ton of exposure. You know, it's very, very well seen, and people that they know the park very well. But yes, you're correct. It's not in a metropolitan area to where, you know, we don't have the volume of people living around here. It does rely a little bit more on transient stuff, but we also have the Valero refinery in Three Rivers that does, you know, what they call it a turnaround when they shut the refinery down for major maintenance.
Yeah.
They have turnarounds, you know, sometimes every year, sometimes every 2 or 3 years. But whenever they have that, however long that turnaround lasts, we're jam-packed full. We haven't been able to take advantage of it for the last year or better, but we're half an hour drive or less from 2 really large lakes. We have Choke Canyon Reservoir and Lake Corpus Christi, both of which are nearly dry right now. The city of Corpus Christi gets their drinking water from those two lakes, and they have pulled it down almost nothing. Like I mentioned earlier, we're in a major drought right now.
Yeah.
That won't last forever. And whenever it does finally come back around, those are always, sources that we have seasonally. We have, fishermen and hunters and things that come in here too. So,
okay. All right. I have a wild question for you. Maybe you've already been asked this from Cam and, or his partner, Brennan. The park I bought in Knoxville area, Tennessee, seller wanted a price very similar to you, not in a rush, not in any pain, was working on the park, developing it, put a lot of time, energy, effort, a lot of money actually he put into the park. And so he had a number in his mind similar to you. And that number for him wasn't able to be sold on the market. And his realtor kept telling him, if you're trying to sell it for that price, you're never going to sell it. Well, I came along and paid that price. We closed about a year ago. And the way I bought that is I gave him, I think the purchase price was 4.2 million. I gave him $2 million down payment. And then I had him carry the note for like 24 months to refinance him out. And what I did is I started putting in cabins and mobile homes and adding value out of my pocket to then go and refinance and wipe out the remaining balance I owed him. Are you open? Are you open to something like that?
I'm open to an owner finance. If I can get at least half down,
okay,
then I would be open for an owner finance, preferably, 3 years, probably 5 years max. And I really don't care, what type of amortization you want to put on it. I mean, that's, not a problem, but I do want a balloon at the end to where I cash out. So,
okay.
Again, it comes back around to, that's another conversation with interest rates. Cause,
let me, before I dig into the financials, have you given Cameron any financials at all?
I'm not going to lie to you. I honestly don't recall whether I had so much happening with people that have hit me with this thing.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
I got a group out of Austin that just blows my phone up. They've driven down here and looked at the place. They're wanting to list it so bad it's not even funny. And I just told them flat out, I said, don't call me again until I call you. I'm working on the cabins. I just, they're nice guys. They're young and they're energetic and they have, people that are, I guess a lot of them are in the multifamily background that are looking to get into RV parks. And I think this kind of works, partially to where, they have some, some housing in here, but also would get their feet wet in the RV world. And they're looking at that, for some of their people. And I just told them, I said, y'all are wanting to talk about a lot of numbers. And I said, right now, the best situation for me is let me finish these 6 cabins I just put in. Let me get them rented and have that income rolling. And then I'll lay it all out on the table and show you that, coupled with the fact that, and I don't know if you ended up, being interested in the park, if this mattered to you or not, but I've spent, now I have a background. My career was in heavy truck and equipment mechanics.
Okay.
I owned a heavy truck repair shop. We had tow trucks. We had truck sales, salvage. I've been in an export business with a partner out of Colombia. We've sent, hundreds of trucks every year overseas at one point. I mean, I've done all that. But that being said, I don't have a background that's real heavy in computers outside of electronic systems on premise.
You don't need to worry about that at all. The way I would buy this park would not rely on the.
I got you. So what I did is I came in and I started talking to AI. And believe it or not, through AI, I have started building, for lack of a better term, an app to run the park off of.
Oh, cool.
And I'm about halfway done building it. But once I'm finished with it, When someone calls myself, or if I have an employee helping, or if I have, my wife or one of my kids, they can pull out their cell phone, pop in a username and password. It opens up the app. They can look at every site, see what's open, put the customer's name in, set their reservation. When they show up, they just click the status to change it. It automatically will send them a welcome text. It'll send them a link to be able to pay with a credit card if they want to, because right now I only accept cash, check, money order in the office. I don't want a card reader in the office. I don't want to store people's credit card information, but going this way through a third party, you give them the option to pay with a convenience fee, and you go on.
Smart.
And that thing is also going to save me so much time, because right now I run these huge spreadsheets that I go through and read every meter in the park once a month, and have to sit there and calculate everything. And when I'm done with this program, you're going to go through the park and read all the meters, type them into each space, hit one button, it'll generate everything. And we prorate people in, we prorate people out. We collect a full month's rent whenever they show up so that they get the monthly rate. You got to pay them minimum 30 days. But if you came in on the 5th, you're going to have 5 days of credit, or 4 days of credit on the next month. This program will calculate that. And if they've already paid the whole month and they check out in the middle of the month, it'll calculate. So we got, 14 days credit left. It'll tell you, it's going to take all the math out of everything to where I can train someone to help run this park in 10 minutes. Here's a username and password, put them in and go. So
yes, sir.
That's if you hired it out, it'd be custom to the park. I mean, you know what that stuff costs, I'm sure. I mean, you're talking spending 10, 20, 30 grand to have a system like that put together. So
yes, sir.
With AI, I'm being able to put it together. It's costing me about $6 a month.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
You gotta love technology.
Well, yeah, when you can figure out how to use it, right? But that's what I was trying to tell you is, I mean, don't have a coding background, but I've spent about 20 something, maybe close to 30 hours so far, and I'm about halfway done building it. I can open it up and have a lot of the screens and stuff we're clicking on. We're still working on putting it together and building it, but that's going to streamline the operation. I'll be able to account to the penny for everything going on very easily at that point. Right now, there's so much cash that comes through this thing. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I've put a daughter through college. She's in college right now, and I have her entire college tuition for 4 years that has, been pulled out of this thing. So
yeah, you gotta love it. That's what they're for.
That does make it a little bit tough for me to be able to show you, exactly what's done, but I can recreate a lot of what I'm telling you about through receipts. And
I don't think I need a lot of that. I don't. I think if you did a deal where we did half money down and we did a half seller carry, and you gave me 3 to 5 years to develop the park and refinance, give you the full amount in, 3 to 5 years, I don't need you to recreate all the financials.
Well, and what about, I mean, I know you haven't been down here. I mean, we're talking very preliminary, and I wouldn't want to get serious about anything without you setting boots on the ground.
Of course, yeah.
Are you interested in me finishing that house, or is this something that you're looking at maybe doing without me finishing that house?
I would probably do it without you finishing the house. And the reason being is because I'm going to bring in a couple of crews to start placing. Let's say hypothetically we buy the park, we do a deal. I wire you, half the money, 1.5 million. My crews are going to come in there and start putting in tiny homes and cabins and restructuring certain things so that we could actually do what your vision is, which is, there's a park just north of you, about 2 miles, that they've lined up a lot more users there, and they're full most of the year. So you had the right idea, filling up with tiny homes and looking for more localized people to live in those in affordable housing. So if I go that route, I'm already going to have, 10 guys on site for 6 to 9 months. I might as well just have them work on the house and finish it all the way out, and keep you from wasting all your time finishing out the house, unless you really want to finish out the house.
No, not particularly. If I'm going to walk away from this thing, I'd rather not finish the house because just dealing with the wife.
Of course. Of course.
Just rip the Band-Aid off if I told her that I sold the place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of, if you're seriously interested in it, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Cameron. You guys let me know when you want to come. I'll pick you up at the airport. If you don't want to have to rent a car, we'll give you the grand tour. I'll show you what's going on here. And if you're interested in it, then we can sit down and figure out, what makes sense for everyone. But
I agree with that.
I think that you obviously have a business background and sound intelligent and educated in the situation. And I just think that the best thing for you to do is to be able to lay your hands on it. So
yes, sir. We always want to do that. I want to make sure, especially if I'm asking you to seller finance, I want you to meet me as well and know that I'm the right kind of person for you to do that with.
Sure.
And what I'll do is I'll get with Cameron. My role in this would be the guy that brings the money and the team. And Cameron would be a little bit more boots on the ground than I am. I live in Montana and Arizona. And so I go to Texas maybe a dozen times a year, but I won't be there full time. Cameron would be more boots on the ground in the partnership. And so me and Cameron come down there. I bring the money. I bring the team to help develop and finish out the park. And we sit down together and you give us the ground tour and see if we can figure out a deal out.
Okay. Well, just let me know whenever you'd like to take a walk over the place, and we'll set some time aside and make sure that we're ready for you. I will say this, and I live my life like I'm going to keep moving towards finishing this place for myself. I have to.
Yes, sir.
So that being said, I haven't made a lot of preparations for getting out of here quickly, other than I have got the entrance to where I can get to the back of the property. And most of this stuff that I have, because I have a lot of equipment, I have a lot of things here that a lot of it's very easy for me to move to the back, not a problem.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. Even the same thing with the easement or the driveway going through the park.
Mhm.
I'm not going to live there. Brennan and Cameron are not going to live there. My two partners, we don't mind figuring out how to get an easement into the property for you that you don't have to worry about it. We're not going to look at your car going in and out all day long. We don't care about that. We also don't care about, how much time it takes for you to, get to the back of the property. That's all easy stuff to figure out.
Yeah, that's I already have the access to the back of the property handled. That's not an issue. My biggest deal is I have that 2,400 square foot shop back there is packed to the gills, and I don't have anywhere to go with a lot of that stuff. So it might take me 60 days or something to be able to get out of here. So
I don't even think it would be a problem if it was 6 months, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and this is all stuff up front. It's good to talk about. I've done a lot of commercial deals, and people come in and expect everything to take place in 30 days and for me to be out of here.
Yeah.
I'm just wanting to be up front and say, look, there's a lot going on that I can't make happen. And matter of fact, these cabins that are here that aren't finished yet. I mean, I'm working towards getting them done, but I mean, come down here and look at it and see what you think. And we're going to keep working like we always have been until something else happens. So,
love it. You're doing the right thing for sure.
If you'd like to set up a date, we'll just give me a holler back and let me know when, and we'll sit down and put it together. And I need to find out how all this is being handled, because I know there's so many people that I've talked to, but I know Cameron was talking to Brendan, and Brendan was talking to Peggy, and Peggy was the realtor that I've always dealt with.
Yeah. So Cameron and Brennan would be my partners. So basically think of all three of us as the same person. And Peggy would essentially be the realtor that's kind of put it all together, I guess. And we'll figure out how to get her paid some money. but Brennan, Cameron, and myself would all come in as partners, and I'm the guy that brings the money.
Got you. And what was your first name again?
Paste, like paste pecani sauce.
Pace.
Yes, sir.
Pace. Admit. Okay. I wouldn't possibly want to go Pace. I appreciate it. It was good visiting with you. If you guys want to work on a visit time, I'll just wait to hear back from you, and we will then put together.
Yes, sir. I'm excited about it. I'll get with Cameron and the team, and we'll get back in touch with you.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Okay, so man, there's like 2 hours of a masterclass there that a lot of people would not pick up on certain things. So first and foremost, a lot of you guys don't get to see me in an element where I adapt to certain sellers. Do we all agree? I picked up immediately, he's a talker and I should shut the heck up. Did everybody notice that? You gotta mirror your prospect, right? You have to mirror them. The other thing is, how do you build rapport is through credibility. How do you build credibility is mirroring your prospect and letting them talk more than you. So I know I'm an educator and I entertain and I do all this kind of stuff on YouTube, but the reality is I'm one of the best negotiators on the planet. All of these things I write down are little bullets of ammunition that I'll use in future conversations with this guy. But what kind of structure will this be? This will end up becoming a Morby method structure. So let me show you how that works. Okay. By the way, do you think he wants to do a deal with me? Yes or no? Do you think he wants to do a deal with me? Yeah. So he's like, I don't want to be bothered by anybody else. Come down to the property. Let's figure this out. Okay. So let's talk about the structure for just a second. I have Madison on my team. She's going to come up here in about 10, 15 minutes. Madison, will you text me if you're backstage, or Carly, will you text me if Madison's backstage? I want to make sure that we're lining everything up. So the structure of a deal like this is called a Morby method. I talk about it very little on YouTube. It's more of a higher level structure that I only teach the SubTo community. But this is a Morby method. What does that mean? The seller wants $3 million. Cool. Okay. I already know it's producing a lot of income. This guy is going to have a lot of challenges. Man, I could literally talk about this one deal for 2 hours. All of the little nuances and little things about this deal. Remember what I talked about with level 0, level 1, 2, 3, and 4? What would you guys say this guy is? A level 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4? Angela, you got it. He's a level 0, which is this is his only park. He's using it to retire off of. Isn't it funny that I just talked to you guys about this on Beargrass, the park I'm buying? And this guy is now checking the meter himself, running the park himself, doing all those things himself. Okay. All of those things this man is doing himself. Okay. Can you guys all understand that this is 90% of the sellers you are going to talk to? Can you give me a yes that you understand this? They're sweet people that have retired from their main job, that these things are printing so much money. And what are they doing? They're living off one park, like putting people through school, retiring off entirely, chilling out on one park. These guys are living on one park. And he's like, well, I got a problem. I've been paying for my daughter's college through this. And so what is he saying? He's saying, I'm not tracking the money. In fact, I'm taking all the cash out and not reporting it to the government. Anybody pick up on that? Okay. How many people want an RV park after listening to that guy going, man, this guy's just printing money off a little park, never has to work again. He's just tootling around with tractors all day long, making $500,000 a year and taking all the cash underneath the table. All right. So the problem with this, and this is where creative finance is so powerful, the problem with him running his park that way is that if he wants $3 million, he's going to have to provide his buyers. Okay, so here's a buyer. He's going to have to provide the buyer with financial statements to prove that he's making that much money. So these buyers can go out and get a bank loan for, let's say 2.5 million with $500,000 down. The bank is going to want to make sure that they're safe giving that $2.5 million loan, and the buyers are going to have to come up with $500,000. So is this guy going to be able to produce receipts that allow a traditional buyer to buy this property? Yes or no? Is traditional real estate going to work in this situation? This is where you guys need to understand why creative finance, what I've become known for over the last 12 years, dominates. It completely destroys every traditional real estate transaction because these owners don't keep track of their transactions. They don't keep track of their cash. Okay. They just take it out, live on it. So how can this buyer get a traditional loan? He can't. So what I do is I go over to the seller and I go, all right, you want to sell this park? No problem. I want to buy the park. You've got an idea in your mind that this thing's worth, $3 million. It could be. Not important for this conversation. The main thing I'm trying to accomplish in a call up front, what's the main thing I'm trying to accomplish in a call is number one, rapport. Sometimes I talk a lot. Sometimes I talk very little. Pace, can you give me a script? Can we all agree in the side chat that scripts are for idiots? You will get completely annihilated if you use a script on a sales call. There's no script for that. So new people are like, what's the script? What's the framework? Ain't going to happen. Does everybody agree that it would be way easier just to do RV parks if you just set appointments for people like me to make the calls for you? Do we all understand now, oh my gosh, if all I had to do was set appointments for a guy like Pace, right? Somebody in the SubTo community, really high level, I don't need to worry about that, but I can learn as I go. Okay. Elizabeth, I don't know why you're dropping join SubTo link in the side chat. Please don't do that. Okay. Thank you, Carly. I got Madison's in the backstage. Cool. All right. So my goal is to build rapport. And in order for me to accomplish that, I have to mirror my prospect. I knew he was a talker the second he said 3 words. How? Because I have done my 10,000 plus hours in sales and marketing. I know human nature. I know what this guy is going to do, and I knew how to adapt to him immediately. One thing I will say all the time to people that are in Texas is also, yes, sir, no, sir. Great job, great idea, sir. Even though I'm the buyer and I'm the customer, somebody in Texas is going to have a foundational line of, why are you not calling me sir? This is a respect situation. Okay, so I built rapport. Would you guys say that I got a 10 out of 10 on building rapport with this guy? And building a rapport is not talking about yourself all the time. Sometimes sellers need you to talk about yourself to build rapport. Other sellers need to talk about themselves and know that you're paying attention. And so the way I built rapport is feeding back some of the things he told me so that I could remind him that I was indeed paying attention. So most of what I talked about, I had a couple of lines where I talked about what I do. I turned around and I reminded him, hey, I'm paying attention to you. I'm listening to you. I hear you. I understand you. What do you guys rate me on a rapport building situation with that seller? Oh, look, I got turkeys in the back. You see all my turkeys in the backyard? This is why you live in Montana. You just got wild turkeys walking through your backyard. Okay, cool. So you guys are giving me a 10 or 1,000. It's effortless for me because I put in thousands of hours of effort to be as good on the phone to make it look easy. If you see somebody make a sell, guys, by the way, I didn't know the address. I didn't know anything about the seller. I knew nothing about anything until I said, tell me about the park. And I let him talk. You guys think I had like anything? Did you guys think I ever called the seller, negotiated with him, communicated with him? I literally knew nothing about the park before I made that call. Zero, zilch. I don't even know the guy's last name. The problem is I'm so good on the phone. This is not me bragging. It's to highlight to you guys that you really need to have a buyer that knows what they're doing so you can throw me or anybody on a phone call that is good so that you don't have to worry about that element. Can I get a yes? We agree that that is the number one element you need in running RV parks. and calling leads and discussing things with brokers. Thank you guys. Love the chat when you guys blow up like that. So my first job, and then we're going to go to Madison here in about 5 minutes. Thank you, Madison. I appreciate you hanging out with me. My first job is rapport. Okay. That's my first job. I accomplished that job. My second job is when I realized that I had gotten enough rapport, I then can ask a question of owner finance. Now, this owner finance structure, I will actually be $0 out of pocket. If you guys are in SubTo, go watch the SubTo course go watch the internal SubTo course on Morby method. This would be a Morby method transaction. I might even get paid up front to buy this deal. Those of you guys that are not in SubTo, you're going to be confused by that. But this is a deal where this seller, do we agree? We're not asking a seller about owner finance until we've built rapport. Do we understand that, everybody? We're not going to this is where people like not in my community that are on like Instagram DMs are like, Pace, I asked the seller if they'd be open to owner finance and they freaking said no. What are you joking me? Guys, it's like asking a girl to marry you and you've never taken her on a date. What are you doing? Can I share the details of the park? No. It's one of my students' leads. I would never share the details of this park and violate their trust. Okay. Isn't the $1.5 million down payment out of pocket? Sure is not. I'll tell you how this is structured real quick. Let me bring up, let's see, Brett Herney. Let me bring Brett Herney up real fast. I'll answer this question for you. Brett Herney, man, you're one of them guys that has 2 devices listening. Come on, Brett, what you got going on over there? I don't know which device to ask you to come on here for. Brett, can you unmute yourself? There he is.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Cool. You got 2 devices. Why you got 2 devices?
Well, I signed in on my phone and then I switched over to the computer. I thought I signed out on my computer though. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. It's just hard to know which one to unmute. Okay, cool. So
yeah,
Brett, I'm going to walk through this structure and I'm going to keep it kind of 30,000 foot view. There are granular details in something called a Morby method. Okay. Mm-hmm. You are obviously not aware of the Morby method. It is a type of creative finance strategy. Okay.
I've been in SubTo for about 3.5 weeks. So I've seen some, but I can't remember the details. Apologize.
Okay. Don't apologize. There's a whole entire course all on Morby method that you can go into. And we also have a weekly Zoom about Morby method. We also have a little over 500 SubTo members that all they do is Morby method. So you'll have a tremendous amount of resources. Okay. So to put it really basically, this particular deal, I will go to a bank. Okay. And that bank, I will go to them and say, hey, I have a $3 million purchase price on this property. And that bank typically, Brett, what would you say that bank is going to give me typically in a typical situation, percentage-wise of that purchase?
20 to 30%.
They're going to want me to put 20 to 30% down.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
They're going to give me 70 to 80% of the purchase. Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm actually not going to ask them for that much money because this guy's finances are a little bit messed up. And so the bank's not going to give me as much money. They're not going to be as safe and secure. So what I'll do is I'll ask the bank for 50% down. Okay. The bank will give me a loan for $1.5 million. That loan will go to the seller. And how much money now is the seller still owed if I give that money to the seller?
1.5.
1.5. So did I come out of pocket to buy this property if the seller is willing to seller finance his other 1.5 for 3 to 5 years? Now I'll walk through what the game plan would be for that 3 to 5 years in a second, but can you see how I would be $0 out of pocket? The bank puts up 50%, the seller carries the other 50%.
Yep. Makes sense.
Cool. Now there's a lot of technical stuff in here that is inside of the SubTo course. There's a whole merit badge, a 12-week course just on the Morby method that's highly technical. I suggest you go watch that when you get the time, or when you run into these deals. Better yet, don't watch the course. Just partner with a SubTo member on your first Morby method. They'll just walk you through it and skip the course. Okay. So The 3 to 5 years, what would we do in this situation? Understanding all the notes I took is what I understand is that this park, if I showed it to you, actually has 35 acres where maybe 7 acres is being used. There's 20 acres of internal land that's all flat that he's not using. In fact, he mentioned, I'm starting to put tiny homes here because I recognize I need more long-term renters. Okay, cool. So what will we do? What we'll do is we'll go out and get some private money partners that want to come in. And these private money partners will come in and pay for the tiny homes and the development. And what we'll do is we'll start filling these up and we'll turn this development from a $3 million park into a $5 to $6 million park by doubling the amount of houses that are available on the park. When I look at the other parks around the area, they're all full. This guy's not full because the way his park is set up. So it does need somebody to come in and develop it. I would just partner with some people inside the private SubTo community. And what I would do is in 3 to 5 years, I would go back to the bank and I go, hey, bank, I know I owe you 1.4 million at this point because now I've made some payments to them, right? And I owe the seller 1.5 million. So my total amount that I'm into this deal is 2.9 plus my, let's say, $500,000 in tiny home / development cost. I'm going to be all into this thing like $3.5 million. And if the park is worth 6, because I've doubled the size of the amount of units, I've actually tracked the revenue. I know that this thing is printing money. I would then go back to that bank and ask them to give me a loan for let's just say 2.5 million. It would wipe out the full 3.5 million, right? My private money partners would get all their money back plus a return. The seller would get his 1.5, and then the original bank loan would also get paid off with that new 4.25 loan. What's beautiful about this is I can then at that point put $750,000 in my pocket tax-free on that refinance. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of steps there, but that is a big project and it'll take a couple of years to do it, but you can get paid on the upfront well before the 750. You can do the deal without any money out of your pocket, double the value, refinance the deal. This is what a lot of people are doing. They're doing the Morby method where you're giving the seller a significant amount of money down and then having the seller carry the rest in second lien position. Go watch the Morby method course. It'll help you tremendously. You'll walk away going, holy moly, I thought Pace was just going to teach me SubTo, not Morby method, seller finance, lease options. I didn't know Pace was going to teach me all these other things and strategies that I didn't even know existed. Morby method is how this deal would get done. I know that I went really high level, like 30,000 foot view, but does that generally make sense to everybody, regardless of the technical ways that works? Does that generally make sense of how that all works? How many people just learned you could buy a $3 million park with no money out of your pocket using the Morby method and then also get paid to buy the park? Cool. If you guys are in SubTo, go watch the Morby method course inside of our private community. Those of you guys not in SubTo, good luck watching it on YouTube. It's basically the same information I just gave you. YouTube's mostly for entertainment, not for education. So hopefully that was helpful. All right. So I've got Madison. Let's bring Madison up here. We've got another, man, I've been with you guys for 2 hours and 15 minutes already. Hopefully this has been hyper valuable. And we got some cool freebies to give you guys as well. Madison, I have never done a live with you. This is so freaking cool.
What's up? Hi, guys.
Guys, this is Madison. She's our controller. She's out of North Atlanta area, Georgia. She runs all the numbers, pays all the bills, takes care of all the things, talks to the CPA. She makes sure that there's money in the bank accounts and the appropriate bank accounts. She talks to our private money lenders when they're worried about where they're sending their money. She verifies wire transfer information. She talks to title companies. She does all sorts of amazing things. And she is somebody I actually rarely ever talk to on our team because Molly and other people talk to her more than I do because I'm usually on these lives with you guys talking to sellers. Madison.
Yes.
What do you have for us today? What do you want to go through?
Yeah. I guess obviously, first of all, nice to meet all of you guys. Obviously I can't see every one of you guys, but excited to be here. I'm a little bit under the weather, so just bear with me through that. But the big topic today is obviously RVs, RV parks, and so I want to dig in a little bit into the accounting aspects with RV parks. It can get very complex, obviously, so we don't have hours and hours and hours to go through stuff, but a few topics we want to hit today. I'm going to share my screen. 1 second.
Let's make sure you can. I want to make sure I do.
Okay.
There we go. Boom. I'll also give you co-host just in case you need that.
Okay.
Guys, can we give Madison some love? She's great, by the way. She's awesome, but I've never had her on a live, let alone in front of 2,000 people. She can handle it. It's not like she's nervous or any of that kind of stuff, but let's give her some love. She took time and energy away from what she's doing today. Oh, she even made a deck.
Oh,
you
yeah.
got all decked out for me?
I did.
Okay, cool. This is freaking awesome. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah. So I think we mentioned a few topics yesterday, or Pace might have brought up, hey, what's some things we can talk about, that have to do with RV, like the financial management aspects of RV parks, stuff of that nature. A lot of the biggest thing is revenue. What are the different revenue streams, income, things that bring in, revenue at RV parks? And I think sometimes people don't realize there are multiple different things that you can, from a revenue stream, bring in. But first of all, really quick, what makes RV parks or RV accounting special? You got to learn how to manage seasonal income. RV parks, some RV parks are located in parts of the country where it's year round. People are coming in and out. Florida's a great example. It's always pretty there, the sun's shining, those types of things. And then obviously the complexity of the multiple revenue streams I just mentioned. And then you really got to be good at a deeper cash flow planning and, really structuring, margin analysis, stuff of that nature if you are a seasonal park. Revenue recognition is very important. RV parks are classified and
I don't know what revenue recognition means.
Yeah, I'm about to tell you. RV parks sit in a hospitality bucket where, you have cash-based books and you have accrual-based books a lot of time in accounting. And so cash-based books are the income that you bring in, you're recognizing it right there in that moment, okay? And accrual-based accounting, which falls in line with hospitality stuff, is going to be more around, all right, I have reservations 6 months out, for example. So that particular reservation that's 6 months out, you've got to do what you call defer that. So you're going to have to put that on the balance sheet and wait till that actual reservation occurs before you actually recognize your revenue. So there's a lot of complexity around revenue recognition when it comes to not only RV parks, but I mean, anything in the hospitality industry, hotels, anything of that nature.
Airbnbs, whatever, right?
All of those. That is huge, huge, huge.
Okay, so do we have a different accounting structure for our Big Spring, Texas parks versus the accounting structure for like the Montana seasonal ones?
Yes, we do. So you'll see, like, you were to deep dive into our books in Texas, for example, that park is always packed. It's max occupancy all the time. There are people planning out. So there's people paying 6 months in advance there. And so you got to be able to recognize that revenue in its proper bucket. For example, what month it's supposed to hit. So yes, the Texas park, we are big on revenue recognition and figuring out when that income is supposed to hit. So
cool.
Yeah, a little bit more in depth with that. That general ledger account, guys, sits on the balance sheet, the deferred revenue bucket. We have reporting. So you have software, obviously, that you run parks on. That reporting software will tell you, hey, XYZ revenue needs to be moved from your balance sheet over to your profit and loss.
What is the software that we're actively using right now? For the reservations, it's like Camp something.
Yeah, I'd have to ask Heidi. Yeah, she runs the whole operational side of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll get the name of that.
You know what I love about our team is I don't have to get involved in anything you do, and you don't have to get involved in anything Heidi does. Our team just gets the freaking job done, which is awesome. Guys, when you're out there wanting to jump into RV parks, do you see why you need a team like mine that's just on it? Everybody knows their job really, really well. Yeah, Camp Spot, that's what it is. We use Camp Spot.
Yeah, Camp Spot. Camp Spot's great. And another thing I want to mention, you guys, simplicity is key. You know, especially with these RV parks, you don't have to get crazy. Keep it simple. Camp Spot, once you hop in it and see it inside of it, very, very simple to use. I love their reporting as well. So it's a great software for sure.
What's also important for you guys to recognize about that is I actually did not know the name of our software off the top of our head. So quick question for everybody in the side chat. Do you need to know the name of the software that your team is using? Yes or no? Is that important for you to know? It depends on who you want to be. Do you want to be the solo operator that runs everything themselves, or do you want to build a big company? If you want to build a big company, which we're just getting started, I feel like as a team, but we've got, you know, on the horizon this year, I bet you will hit well over 20 parks. We're going to buy a bunch. We got a whole bunch we've been closing on the last couple of weeks and even more in the next couple of weeks. So it depends on who you are. I don't want to know everything. I really don't. I want to be out buying the next park, raising the money for the next park. I want to stop by the park, maybe steal some candy bars and see if the manager will notice, see if Madison will notice on the ledger. Probably not. I'm sleuth. I'm so good at stealing candy bars for myself. Outside of that, I don't want to be doing the stuff I'm not good at. Madison is diabolically good at what she does. Heidi is diabolically good at what she does. Yeah, there you go. Who cares what the name is? Sometimes people do care. And those are the smaller operators, and that's perfectly fine. You just need to know that about yourself. Again, as we talk with Madison, I want, how many people in here are like brand new to me, brand new to RV parks, brand new to creative finance, brand new to everything? Okay. So as Madison speaks, she speaks a different language that you don't speak. So when she says deferred bucket, general ledger, it basically is like speaking Egyptian to you. Okay. She's not going to change the way she speaks. You just need to understand this is why you need people like a Madison, so you don't have to learn these things at some point. Lyle says, I understand the general ledger. Most people don't. Okay. And it depends on who you are. You might not never need to know that. So as she goes through and she presents today, I'm going to speak less, but I want you to remember that some of you are going to go, wait, I got to learn all of this? No. I'd say 20% of people in here are going to go, this is such great information. How many people are more excited about what Madison's going to talk about than the seller call that I just had? You're going to have more the technical people that are like, I like this side. Pace, you can shut your stupid mouth. I've seen enough of your seller calls. Okay. Perfect. Then that is why Madison's here, is to show you guys and kind of open up the kimono to a certain degree. But for the people that are more like me that want to go out and be the acquisition people, you should learn just as much from Madison, but not the same thing. The thing you should learn from Madison is, I'm glad you just showed me how important that role is so that I never try and do it and I just partner with somebody else. Can I get a yes, we understand, before we get into the technical side? So that you guys listening to Madison that go, I'm overwhelmed. Well, we're not trying to teach you how to do Madison's job. We're trying to highlight to you that somebody like Madison is critical to this process for you to go build an RV park business. Madison, I'm going to shut my stupid mouth now.
Oh, you're fine. You're good. All good. And so, yeah, all great points. I mean, the revenue recognition is extremely important in RV accounting. And obviously on the opposite side of that are going to be what's going out of your bank account, you know, and that's, there's two big concepts in RV accounting. You know, it's CapEx related items, and then a lot of times your maintenance stuff. And so those are two different concepts. You know, a CapEx improvement might be, let's roll in and put $35,000 worth of new awnings up, for example. Maintenance expense might be, let's put $75 worth of mulch around the front office. You know, you have to be able to balance and analyze those aspects as well. Another big topic is taxes. Hospitality taxes are different in every part of the country, even down to city and county. So there's a lot of lodging taxes, a variety of those sit out in different cities and counties. And so we just have to be able to track those and look at those properly, report those every month correctly. So there's a lot of that. Utility tracking. A lot of parks will have long-term rentals, little cabins, for example, or RVs that will sit there for 8 months, 12 months, those types of things. And in those circumstances, you do what you call a bill back procedure. Your tenant is paying for those utilities in those circumstances and not exactly the owner of the park. And so you have to be able to create processes and logistically make sure everything's lined out where all of that's structured correctly. And then a lot of parks have retail situations, little camp stores, restaurants, stuff of that nature. That's a whole other complexity, even outside of the RV park accounting. So, there's a lot of complexity here, but I just wanted to quickly run through that really fast. Revenue streams that are big in the RV industry. Core site revenue, that's your primary stuff. That's your, oh, I'm staying 2 nights. Oh, I'm staying 6 weeks. Oh, I'm staying 4 months, whatever that might be. Oh, we have these little cabins. We have these cottages, any of those types of things. Your retail and ancillary sales, that's going to be your restaurant stuff, your store stuff I just mentioned, anything of that nature. A lot of parks have on-site storage on them. A lot of times people will leave their RVs there. A lot of RV parks are located on lakes or near the ocean or something of that nature, and they allow you to store boats or do something of that particular type of revenue. The utility stuff I just mentioned, the electric stuff, a lot of times there's bill backs for water or trash or a variety of things. It just depends on the type of park and what kind of different buildings you might have there, etc. Amenity-based revenue. A lot of these big parks have extra amenities. They'll have they might have a spa. I've seen them with spas. I've seen them with, nicer pools, all of these different types of things. And so that's an extra perk if your park has that. Obviously, administrative and miscellaneous fees are pretty straightforward. Real estate and asset-based revenue, that's more particularly on an ownership situation. Event and experience revenue, you're talking about, a lot of these parks have different events, Christmas time, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day, all of these different events. That is a very, very big revenue driver for RV parks. Not only that, but obviously we live in the world of today of social media and content. That drives people to your park with different things going on where you can shoot content, etc. And then partner and commission revenue, depending on if you have partners in the deal you're doing, etc. So we do have several parks, as Pace mentioned. We do have a park in Montana. Actually 2 parks in Montana, one in Texas called Big Springs that he mentioned as well. And so we want to get into a little bit about seasonal parks versus all year round parks. Seasonal parks are more, as you can see, this is the bottom line for this park by month. And you can see how it looks like a roller coaster. And that's going to be your key indicator of a seasonal park. It's certain times of the year where these parks are located. You're going to have very little traffic, very little people staying there, those types of things. But then come summertime, when it's beautiful there, obviously your revenue is going to increase dramatically. And so that's what this type of park is. And that's what you're seeing here with this curve from a net income standpoint. And then you jump over, we just bought the Big Springs Park back in the summertime in 2025.
I have not seen these financials, so I'm excited about this.
Oh, so okay, this is going to be a park in Texas that we just purchased. Half of the P&L is not there because we purchased this in the summer of last year. And so you're going to see a large number in the middle of the summer because what happens, we're going back to the deferred revenue concept. If you purchase a park and they've done their accounting correctly, they have reservations out, expanding out XYZ. And so when you go to, when you close on your park, they're going to owe you those funds. If their accounting and their trust accounting is all done correctly, they're going to owe you those future reservations. So that's why there's a big chunk in the month of June. That's why you're seeing that. And then as you see, as July goes out, and then in the past few months,
So I'm assuming that the park owner that we bought this from was actually doing his accounting properly, because we got a big chunk of money that was all future revenue that had not been recognized because those people had not utilized the service that they already paid for at that point.
Correct. And actually, I did a bunch of due diligence when we bought these parks, and their books looked actually very good. Very, very good. So, yeah, it all lined up correctly when we did the acquisition and everything came over to us. So, yes, if you're doing that's another thing. Not that you would ever, if you are ever in the situation where you do want to sell, and people come to you, you want your books to be, accrual accounting, you want it all documented correctly, all of those things to look good so that you can click 3 buttons and you're done.
How much do we have money in this bank account for this park?
We do actually.
How much money do we have?
I actually have the bank statement right here. We have.
You guys know anybody else that'd be willing to show you their books on an actual RV park on a live, and then also show you guys tell you how much money they have in the bank account?
Yeah, I know. Pace is being extra. Yeah, this bank account has almost $100,000 in it. Yep.
Okay. And do you know, is that money that is ready for distributions for like profit, or is that money that is for future stays?
So we have that separated out. So this is actually a bucket that's ready for two concepts there. Ready for distribution, as well as we have a certain amount allotted to what we call a reserve. And we have plans in the year 2026 what we want to spend those reserves on in terms of upgrades to the park, for example. So
you're telling me we got $100,000 in the bank account that I could take out today?
Correct.
Yeah. And we haven't even owned that park for a year yet?
No, not even a year.
Okay, guys, anybody motivated to own I don't think we've taken a distribution on this. Anybody interested in owning one RV park that literally just prints money like that?
Yeah, look at this number down here. I'm circling. If everyone can see my mouse.
What's that number mean?
I mean, so we can get into that too. So you always have to think you have in accounting, you're going to have your gross line, you're going to have your net line. And then after that, you've got to even go to the complexity of talking about cash flow after that. Because what I'm not showing you guys is our balance sheet. And what sits on the balance sheet is, capital improvements, for example, $15,000 that we've spent on capital improvements, and a variety of other things. So that's what you're not seeing, but you are seeing the P&L.
So what you're saying is that it shows $191,000 in net income, but that also takes out the money we could have just, instead of us going, hey, let's reinvest money into the park. If we went the route of not reinvesting, we would have had a larger profit of closer over $200,000, well over $200,000. But we actually reinvest our money back into the park, keep it nice, upgrading amenities, making it better. One of the things that I know we're investing our money in on this park are the awnings that actually will generate more revenue, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But you're telling me that after all the capital improvements, after the investment back in the park, we've got a net income of $191,000?
Yeah. And I don't even have February on here, guys. It's already February 11th. I cut this off on the end of January. So.
My gosh.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yep. I always tell people, in real estate, I mean, they're literally cash cows. If you run them properly, guys, if you set them up properly, if you handle it properly, they print money, just like Pace mentioned just now. They literally print money, for sure. getting a little bit down in the weeds for 2 seconds. I don't want to take up the entire webinar.
I think people are loving you, by the way.
Oh goodness. Okay.
Do you guys wish I did more content like this where we brought our actual team in, less students? Like I have thousands of student testimonials, thousands of student deals we could talk about all day long. Is it kind of nice to see my actual team, the people that make me look better than I actually am? The people like Madison that actually shine this turd up real nice. I've never done a live with you, Madison.
I know. I love lives. Normally I'm not sick, guys, and I'm like Pace. I can talk till the sun comes up, and I especially talk about financials and how we can grow and on. But I normally don't sound like this.
Madison, you know what I'm going to probably have you do?
Yeah.
It's for the SubTo community. I'm going to have you put together like a 6-part class on just doing the financials on RV and mobile home parks.
Sure.
And how many SubTo members would want to see that? And like actually be in a private setting, be able to ask questions to her, and we'll turn it into like a merit badge, like a 6-part class, something like that. Okay, cool. We'll do that because Madison's freaking killer on lives.
Yeah, no, I love that kind of stuff. I'm not only do I like to give knowledge, but I'm also a personal and professional sponge as well. But I mean, these expenses and CapEx stuff, guys, I obviously I'm an accountant. I shorten things. CapEx is just capital improvements, stuff of that nature that you're going to have to do to an RV park, a property, whatever it might be. And I can send this list out to you guys. Also, I have a bunch of other resources that I've put together for you all also that the team can provide for you as well. But
Madison made a bunch of freebies for you guys. So give her a thumbs up emoji. She made a bunch of freebies for y'all.
Yeah, but we're getting down in the weeds here. But I do this because, and I mention these things all the time to people because they go, oh, wait, dang, I never thought about that. Like one of the biggest ones often people don't think about are chargebacks. And if you don't understand what a chargeback is, that's all right, I have a reservation out in the month of June of 2026. Someone gave me $10,000, for example. They call me tomorrow morning. We're canceling that reservation. Oh, well, I did have that $10,000 kind of in my mind and over in this reserve account. But now doesn't happen, and there's a lot of other complexities with that, but that's just kind of an example there. But, RV parks, they do have, you're going to have to handle your payroll and your labor. However, I will say most RV parks, it's not like you're going to have a crazy amount of staff. I mean, most RV parks will have a manager, an assistant manager, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 maintenance people, if your park's big enough that you can alternate in and out, those types of things. They're honestly not, I mean, you don't have to have this extensive amount of staff and this extensive amount of employees. Like your labor and payroll should stay very minimal depending on the size of your park. So that's always a good thing with this. If you get into different businesses or different industries, you're like, oh gosh, I mean, if you look at a lot of people's P&Ls, that's the biggest chunk of money going out their door every month is their payroll and wages. So that is a very big perk with RV parks. If you're running it right and you have the right team members on your team on site at your park, you should be able to keep that down minimally.
Madison, did you hear my seller call with that gentleman, or were you talking to Carly backstage?
No, I was backstage. Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh, you would cringe listening to this guy, how he runs his books. He basically pays he only accepts cash at his RV park.
Okay.
He collects it all himself, so he does not report it, which means now when he goes to sell it, it's basically impossible to sell without creative finance, without like seller finance, because no bank's going to finance.
No.
And he just pays for all his bills out of that, which, guys, when you have somebody like Madison on your team, she's full-time on her team, guys, so she's not ready. She's not for hire. I had somebody just text me like, how do I hire Madison? You don't. She's full-time on her team. But you need somebody like a Madison, a fractional controller, or somebody that can actually do this for you guys so that you don't get into trouble. For one thing, for example, is that I'm not taking distributions on these parks until they get to an abundant level. In fact, I look at the $100,000 that's in that account that's like ready for distribution, and I'm thinking either A, let's just leave it in there because it's a nice feeling to have. B, why don't we go buy more awnings and reinvest all that distribution? Like, I don't need the distribution. Why don't we just double down? Or C, are there some private money partners in there that want to be bought out that we could take that distribution and buy some of them out and reduce our debt load and also reduce our monthly outlay for like cash that we're sending out to investors? I didn't know we had 100 grand sitting in the bank account. I don't want to know. I want to go focus on the next park. I don't want to be like, let me live on the park. I want the park to grow and build an empire. And I want our team to be one of the biggest RV park owners in the country. And I think we can do that. Now that I'm on this live with Madison, I'm 100% sure we could do this because she's given me all the confidence in the world that we can take over the entire country of RV parks.
Maybe. We'll see. Utilities is a popular topic, guys. Like I said, you want to, your common areas are obviously going to come out of your bank accounts. A lot of our RV parks are short term. You're only going to have people there 3 to 4 nights, that kind of stuff. So you are going to be responsible, for the electricity, however, or the other utilities. However, if you do have a bigger park, ones with cottages, cabins, long-term stuff of that nature, you do want to make sure that you do have a bill back process in place. That kind of also teeter-totters into kind of property management, which is a whole other ballgame, and we'll have to talk about that on a later day. Repairs and maintenance. This will never end. I will tell you that. You're not going to sit there one day at your RV park and go, everything is just rainbow and butterflies. Your repairs and maintenance won't end. You always need to be 3 to 6 to 9 months ahead when it comes to thinking about, oh, what might go on here, there, whatever. I live in Georgia, for example, 2 RV parks within 12 miles of my house. I live on Lake Altoona. Fun fact, the whole Ozark show was filmed 5 minutes from my house. The Blue Cat, Jason Bateman just walking around, all that kind of stuff. But these RV parks were not expecting the weather at my house to be 12 degrees last week. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you always have to have a reserve. You always have to be thinking ahead, in terms of those types of things, with little repairs. Hopefully this won't bust, all of those things. Always be on top of that. Obviously, you're going to always have administrative and office costs. I always tell people, this is where you need to penny ante. Don't get crazy with this stuff. Like, you need to really, really watch this. People always go, oh, it's only $9.99 a month. And I'm like, do $9.99 times 12 times, all the math, and then what that ends up being, So be careful with that bucket for sure. Insurance is always going to be pricey. That's just life these days. We know, everybody knows that story. It's nothing new. I think insurance is going to be, higher in certain areas. If you live in a hurricane zone or a floodplain or that kind of stuff, obviously that stuff's going to be higher. So just, you're going to have to take in that stuff for accountability purposes. Property costs, you're going to have property taxes. That's not going to go away. If you HOA fees probably aren't going to be applicable much. Lease payments might be, just depends on what kind of structure you have set up. Marketing and sales. And then you're going to move into stuff like your non-operating expense. If you have debt and finance expenses, those types of things. And then you're going to move over to your CapEx stuff. That's bigger stuff. Oh, great. We're going to have to install a new playground. It's going to cost 25 grand. Oh, we need new awnings like Pace mentioned, etc. So that's your bigger expenses. That's going to overall increase the value of the property, obviously attract more people, all of those types of things. And then you're going to have some hidden and sometimes missed expenses that I feel that people don't think about, that might come up and that you might need to put in your back pocket in case something might happen. But
one of those line items is me, shrinkage in store inventory. Every time I go into one of our stores, I try and steal at least one ice cream thing or at least one candy bar. And if I didn't, then I feel like I failed visiting the RV park truly. So yes, that is a true thing.
yeah,
Even
then
my
you're gonna have
kids,
Pace that's filling the candy bars and stuff.
I'm like, I don't tell my kids, hey, let's go to the RV park. I go, hey kids, do you guys want to go to the ice cream store?
Yeah, that's always fun. And then I'm gonna wrap up with this, guys. We'll send this to you guys. This is like me brain dumping like the whole picture into kind of one little slide for you guys, so that, because I barely touched the surface of what I just showed you guys. So we'll send this out to you. All the different bullet points of understanding RV park accounting. You obviously want to have your model built out, how you want to function as a business, what that looks like, your framework around accounting. That's different for different people. Everyone functions different with accounting. So, that's specific to kind of how you like to operate and run your business. Your chart of accounts is so important when it comes to accounting. You want to make sure you're coding things correctly. All of those, whether it's expenses, whether it's cost of goods sold, I mean, on and on and on. Revenue recognition and billing policies. I went into the revenue recognition a little bit. Utility accounting. You want to make sure if you do have bill backs that are necessary, that's in place. Cash management, internal controls are important. Your payroll and labor, the inventory stuff, a month-end close process. I can't preach that enough to people with accounting. Like you need to have a month-end close process, a checklist, making sure things reconcile and tie out. Your financial statements, your P&L, your balance sheet, all of those, your cash flow statements, all of those different factors. Your dashboarding and operational metrics. I feel like if you don't know your numbers, you're going to struggle to know where you're at all the time. So make sure you know your numbers. Like I said, keep it simple though. You don't need 50 million things. Pick 5 to 7 buckets that work for you, work for your business, work for your staff, and run with it. I'm the biggest on budgeting and forecasting. Like, let's look out over the next 12 to 18 months. What does that look like? If we want to increase top line revenue by 10%, for example, what revenue streams do we have built in right now? And then how do we want to grow those certain revenue streams to hit XYZ milestone? So that's important too. Capital, expenditures and infrastructure planning. You always want to make sure you have the future in mind. I tell people, don't just live in the very moment you're in. If you have debt or financing involved, make sure that's structured correctly. You're paying that off. Maybe if you're in a position to even pay an extra whatever, make sure you have that stuff. Taxes are obviously important all the time. If you do have investors, reporting. I love a good investor reporting package. Hey, we did this to the pool, or we got a new playground, all of that. Visuals, great, great, great. And then you might plan on selling or refinancing soon. So the more you have processes in place, the more structured you are, the more you're going to be prepared for that. And then I always tell people all the time, software and systems will make your life 50,000 times easier. So,
you're incredible.
I'm done, Pace. That's a lot in 50 minutes, but
I can't believe, well, 10 minutes it was me interrupting you. Guys, did you guys learn a bunch of things? Tell Madison in the side chat, what was your favorite thing that she covered today? We'll have her come back in a private SubTo Zoom. Today, we're just kind of doing a general like YouTube audience type of Zoom. Yeah. But for you guys, I hung out with Madison at our team's quarterly meeting. And I was like, why am I not asking her to jump on more often? She is so good. She's a great communicator, and she's so good on strategy. She also loves RV parks. She has a deep history in it. She's helped run big companies doing this stuff. Like, why am I not sharing this lady's value with the whole entire community? So SubTo community, watch out for Madison. She'll be coming in a lot more. And we'll do like Q&A style with her, and we'll stress her out. See if she can, we'll do like pop quizzes for her and see what's up.
yeah.
The awnings. Let's talk about the awnings just for a second. Are you in the strategy on the awnings?
No, so that's Heidi's. So just so you guys know, Heidi was supposed to be on here, but has something else to do. We wanted you guys to meet her. She handles the operational side of all of our RV parks, and she's way better than I ever thought about being. She is a genius when it comes to this stuff. So she handles those types of things. So no, I handle the part where, hey, Madison, can you pay for these awnings?
We were hanging out, we were having lunch with like the whole team, and you had to keep leaving the table because we had all of our like partners were calling going, hey, I'm wiring money in for the next park. And you kept leaving. I was like, is everything okay? You're like, dude, we just got a lot of people wanting to jump into parks with us, which is a good thing. So
yeah, no, it's great. I think I love RV parks. I think they're such a great investment. I mean, I tell people all the time, numbers don't lie. When you look at their P&Ls, I mean, it's very, very vivid. like you said, they print cash. It's very, very vivid. So
I left Beargrass, the park that we're about to buy in, I think like 30 days. I
yeah.
left there today, and Roberto, my camera guy, was like, so like, what am I missing? I go, what do you mean? He says, this seems too good to be true. I go, I know.
Yeah.
I know, like every park we own prints money. Like we don't have one park that's losing money or having a hard time. They print money. Now, the biggest challenge we have, which is why you're so good on the team, is the seasonality of the Montana parks, but we just don't distribute all year round. I think
No.
we've done one big distribution on the Montana park. Other than that, like we just let the money like pile up.
Yeah.
And the team is so good. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Sherry Gunther, do you know about the dead body at the new park we just bought 2 weeks ago?
No, I don't.
Okay, so we just bought the Tennessee park, Davy Crockett, like
Yeah.
two weeks ago.
Yeah.
Day one, our team had to evict a monkey. There was a person that had a monkey that was like a massive issue.
Okay.
And then 2 days later, one of the long-term tenants passed away, and people were starting to complain about a strange scent. And so we had to call the authorities and deal with a dead body. So guys, it's never
Never a dull moment.
never a dull moment.
Yeah.
But
I
when
didn't
you,
say there wouldn't be chaos and fun and craziness. Yeah, I didn't promise that. So
I
yeah.
think what we'll do is we'll get into some bigger parks at some point, probably in the next 12 to 18 months. We'll start buying some larger, like 10, 15, $20 million parks that have like big resort feel where you have fishing and you have restaurants, you have all that kind of stuff. Our parks are actually kind of boring, to be honest. And they still are not boring. So, Madison, you killed it.
Oh,
Everybody
you,
give it up for Madison.
so nice to meet you all. Yes, I will be back soon with some more insightful accounting and counting news.
I think people are really going to love this. And we'll talk about strategy. Maybe what we'll do is we'll have you and Heidi work together on like talking about the strategy and what we're doing as a team. Guys, this is what's so cool about having access to a big team. And I think that the same resounding thing over and over is get yourself access to a team so that when you set appointments for people like me or other SubTo members, they are the ones that are doing all of this. Can we hire her? Dave Allen was not paying attention. Guys, can you hire Madison? Yes or no? I don't. It's not because I don't want to share Madison. It's because Madison's on our team full time. She runs way more financials than just our RV park. She's full time on salary, and also at some point we'll end up being like profit share on some of these parks. And we're building a team that I hope can all retire. That's my hope. They can all retire from just the RV parks that we buy. So thank you for saying all the nice things. I'm sure Madison loves seeing that in the side chat. All right, cool. So tomorrow, here's what we're going to cover tomorrow. I've got another seller call tomorrow. I also have, we're going to show you guys how to find buyers tomorrow. Everybody cool with us showing you how to find buyers tomorrow? How can we team up tomorrow? Everybody want to know how you can just team up with me tomorrow? We'll show you how to find buyers, how to team up with me or another 800 plus SubTo members that are buying RV parks. We did start an hour early today, guys. I did an hour of Q&A. I wanted to make sure that we had that. I also have a big meetup here at my barn, and I want to make sure I prepare for that today. So we will be back tomorrow right on time, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. That's 12 noon Pacific, 1 p.m. Mountain, 2 p.m. Central, and 3 p.m. Eastern Time. How many people are coming back tomorrow? We're going to give you guys a 5,000 RV park list. So you guys have people to reach out to. I'm going to show you how to find buyers. And then I'm also going to show you how to partner with me or other people like me so that you guys can go out, get paid finder's fees, get paid equity, start buying these parks yourself. We will show you guys all of that tomorrow. I look forward to all of it. And then we'll do probably like a good hour and a half to 2 hour Q&A tomorrow. Has everybody had a blast hanging out with me Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and now Wednesday, 4 days in a row? Everybody been having a blast. Cool. Do me a favor. If you guys are not in our SubTo community, go into the free Facebook group and just say, here's the number one thing I've taken away from Pace's team over the last 4 days. Do me a favor, love on my team. They come in here. I want to make sure that they're incentivized to come back, please. Carly keeps putting the link in the side chat for the free Facebook group. I'll put the side chat on pause. There's the free Facebook group. Go in there. Just make a post and say, this week, 4 days with Pace and his team, I took this away, this away, this away, etc. For those of you guys in SubTo, we have an incredible RV park, 1 full week in our office, 8 hours a day, where all we're doing is doing live deals together. And I look forward to seeing the SubTo members in person. Most of the spots are taken. I'll show you guys tomorrow how to get into some of those spots. We'll talk about finding buyers, doing deals with me or buyers like me. And then I will also be giving you guys a 5,000 RV park list with sellers' phone numbers, etc. at the end of tomorrow's training. I hope you guys have been having a blast. DM me on Instagram. Tell me something that you guys have learned over the last couple of days, and encourage me. Please, I will work for compliments all day long. We appreciate you guys and the 2,000 people that have stuck with us the last couple of days. Couple hundred people on YouTube. You guys are always welcome to come into the Zoom. There's way more networking, way more chat going on over on the Zoom. And we are live tomorrow, Thursday, February 12th. We will see you guys tomorrow afternoon, 12